explains the nature of our cosmos. Last week you asked me the question about the 9 planets and how they work. And so let's do that and we'll finish with that.
Okay.
So this is how our cosmos really exists. See, when Copernicus came along, Copernicus was the guy who introduced the hypothesis, the theory of the globe. And it's never been updated from a theory. It's never been a fact that we live on a globe. Despite the CGI images of NASA of a globe and the blue marble that the Japanese have given us, these are CGI images. They are false and they're not photographs. They are images because they cannot photograph the whole of the planet Earth because it is a horizontally extended plane which extends way beyond the Arctic South Pole. The Arctic Circle is a circle around our flat circle Earth. And the sun does circles every day above the Earth as it goes around in the heavens. Let me explain how this works.
Mm-hmm.
So our Earth is a flat horizontal plane, according to the book of Revelation 20, verse 11, where it says the Earth is a platos. That's the Greek word, platos or platus, which means a flat plane. Okay? Revelation 20, verse 11, or verse 9, I think it is. So here's the Earth from above. There's the North Pole. This is the South Pole, the Arctic Ring. And beyond there are many, many lands. One famous Australian explorer called Sir Captain Hubert George Wilkins. He was a friend of Admiral Byrd, who went into the Arctic Circle, and he found many lands in the Arctic Circle, beautiful in the north. Here there's life. Here there is no life. But beyond here, Sir Captain George Hubert Wilkins, he went 5,000 miles beyond the South Pole, and he discovered many unknown lands to humanity. Okay? So I'll show you a map of that if you want to see it, if I can share screen. Is it possible to share screen?
It's not going to be available on your side.
No?
If you see a share screen, you can, but I don't have a paid version of the Zoom, the full version that lets you do that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't see it on mine either right now.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Don't worry. That's fine. Well, see, what this is the Tropic of Cancer, this is the equator, and this is the Tropic of Capricorn. And so in June, the sun is here. Mm-hmm. Okay? In September, it's here. And in December, it's going to be here. And Australia is around here. So Europe is over here. And India, near the Tropic of Cancer, very hot in India. Because India is very, very close. This is called Jambudweep, the island of Jambudweep, in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It says the earth is a circle. And it's sitting on top of Bhumandala. Bhumandala. Bhu means the world.
Yeah.
Everyone in India who speaks Hindi and all the languages, they know that means Bhumandala. And mandala, well, that's a circle. Okay, so what happens is there is another phenomena called the analemma. Do you know the analemma? That's the analemma.
Okay.
Yeah, the analemma is the path of the sun. That's the ecliptic. So if you go to Google Images and you put the word analemma, you'll see the ecliptic and how it works over a flat earth. And this is the sun. This is the sun. Here is the equinox, Aries, Taurus. Gemini is here. Here is Cancer, Leo, Virgo stops here. Libra is here, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn at the Tropic of Capricorn. Aquarius, Pisces, Aries. The 15th of April, when Sri Rama is born, is here, right in the middle of the figure 8. The figure 8, it does not cross over on the equator. It crosses over at the 8th degree of latitude above the equator. Interesting that the figure 8 of the analemma crosses here 8 degrees, and it's the figure 8. And that day there, on the way going up, when the sun's going up to the Tropic of Cancer, and it crosses there, that's the 15th of April. That's the birthday of Sri Rama in Aries, because Aries stops here. Starts here at the equator, stops here. That's the birthday of Sri Rama. On the way down, it's the 29th of August. You might want to find out what that means in the Sanskrit Hindu calendar, but in the West, in our Christian calendar, the 29th of August is the day of the beheading of St. John the Baptist. He gets his head cut off. Well, that's the head there. How do I know? Oh, it's easy. John the Baptist, his birthday is here on the 24th of June. Mm-hmm. Jesus, the Lamb of God, has his birthday over here in Capricorn on the 25th of December. You see, John the Baptist, his cousin, is 6 months older. And so when John the Baptist says, he will go on increasing and I will go on decreasing, well, it's simple. It's the sun. The sun increases from here. From Capricorn, it climbs. It's waxing. And then when it gets to John the Baptist's birthday, it has to wane. It has to decrease. So John the Baptist, this famous biblical archetype character, because none of them are literal. They're not literal at all. It's all allegoric and anagogic, metaphorical, and symbolical.
Even Jesus.
Yeah, even Jesus. For sure, man. For sure. Jesus.
But I know they think like Jesus is the same personification of Amun-Ra, who had his own 12 disciples, had the same way of living his life, was crucified at the age of 30. And so I saw that. I'm like, because it was the Book of the Dead of the Egypt, how the whole story, and the Roman Catholic just took the same story and then ran with it. That's what I've heard. So
it's the same story, brother. You'll find, if you read when I read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and all of these great books, I see the same cosmology, religion, science as the Christian. They are one and the same. It's, if I say to you, I would like an apple in English, and then if I say it in Italian, vorrei una mela, and then in Spanish, quisiera una manzana, I've just said the same thing in 3 languages.
3 languages, yeah.
It's the same thing. The result is I get an apple. And the same is with all the theologies. When Jesus has 12 disciples, it's the sun with the 12 signs of the zodiac.
Signs of the zodiac.
When Jacob, which is the sun, has 12 sons, those are the 12 signs of the zodiac.
No, I loved your description of the Last Supper painting, where all the disciples are somehow showing a zodiac sign. So it completely shows that. Yeah.
Well, it's the Last Supper. And look where Jesus is. He's in the middle of the ecliptic in Libra. You see, if you look here, that's Aries. Aries always starts over here. Aries at the head of the table. He's got his hands on the table. He's the only one that is at the head of the table.
Yeah.
Then you have Taurus. Then you have Gemini. Look at Gemini. What's Gemini doing?
2 hands. Yep.
Yeah, the twins. Okay, then you have Cancer, the crabby Cancer. He's leaning over. He's pointing to the throat of Virgo, saying, hey, there's no Adam's apple here. This is a girl sign of the zodiac. And he has a knife in his hand here, because the crab has it's a crabby, it's got like little pincers in his hand. Leo has his elbow. Look at the elbow of Leo. That's the lion. The lion is the ruler of the zodiac. He's got his elbow on the table. That's
Yeah.
rude. That implies, okay, then you have Virgo, the female. Then you have the sun at the middle of the ecliptic. Look at Libra. What's Libra doing?
Balancing.
Yeah. Look at Scorpio. What's
That back tail.
yeah, look at the he's pointing his finger up like his tail points upward.
Yep.
Oh, you always see that tail pointing upward. Look at big Jupiterian Sagittarius, the horse. Very big. Look at the black Capricorn. Saturn rules Capricorn. Look at the dark or the wise old
man.
Aquarius. Look at Pisces with his two hands, the two fish.
Two fishes. Wow, this is crazy.
So what you're seeing is the Last Supper. Why is it the Last Supper? Well, because the son has to die. That's where the sun is, on the 23rd of September. What's the 23rd of September called in Jewish? Judgment Day. Every year, where the son, on his Last Supper, because tomorrow he will die, right next to Libra, is because the sun dies here because it has to go down to hell.
Yeah.
Down to winter. Hell is inferno. Winter is inverno. So when you go to hell, you don't go to a hot place. It's a cold place. It's winter. So the sun, that's the Last Supper. That's Judgment Day. In Libra, the scales of judgment, that's where the sun sets. That's the symbol of Libra, yeah?
Yeah.
That's the sun setting. Even Omega in Greek, that's the sun setting. Omega means big O. Who's big O? The sun. Remember we said the sun was Sol Invictus, and the moon is Mono?
Yeah.
That's Latin for alone. That's Greek for alone. And then you take that O off and you've got Solomon, the temple of Solomon, the temple of the sun and the moon. It's the ecliptic. This is the temple. And so when Jesus dies at the Last Supper, he's been living here with his disciples. He's had a great time.
Yeah.
And then he has to have the Last Supper. And what do they eat at the Last Supper? The bread and the wine. Well, Virgo is the wine season. Libra, Virgo is the bread season. You harvest your grains here in August, September. September is the wine season. And so here's what's on the table, the bread and the wine.
Exactly.
And the sun is in the middle saying, tomorrow I'll be dead. Please remember me.
Yeah. Wow.
The Last Supper. There's nothing literal in the Bible. There is nothing factual in the Bible. There's only truth in the Bible. And it's spiritual truth, which churchgoers who unfortunately are deluded swine eaters, they will never understand. They will never understand this because they're eating dogs and animals and corpses. When you eat corpses, your mind is putrefied. The only way to ascend the mind is to eat vegetarian. And India is the leading example of vegetarian food on the planet. India was totally vegetarian before the English and the Muslims came along and polluted them. They always didn't eat cows and pigs and all that rotten stuff.
Well, what I want to ask you is regarding the flat earth thing, what is the bottom of this looks like? What is at the bottom?
Underneath.
What is the shape at the bottom? I mean.
Okay, well, there are some people talk about hollow earth because they've actually been through the portal at the North Pole and they've been under the earth and they believe that the earth is hollow, but it's not. It's not hollow. Here is the earth. Mm-hmm. Above us we have a dome like this. It's called the firmament, and that's where the stars are, the fixed stars. And then under that you have Saturn's ring, sphere, Jupiter, Mars, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and the Moon. So there are 7 principalities or kingdoms or realms, and underneath you have 7 planets too, underneath the Earth, and they are flat, and they are the hellish planets. In Bhagavad Gita, it calls these the heavenly planets. But Putala at the bottom, that is a hellish planet, and Atala at the top. Supposedly there are people, they live here, and they come through the North Pole, and these people are controlling our planet. And this is what they call extraterrestrials, you know, Anunnaki, reptilians, and greys, and all of these under the Earth. There are 7 planets under our planet Earth. And above us, there are 10 layers. I'll show you the 10 layers. We live inside a concentric cell, if you like. So here's the Earth. There's 7 below us. And we have a dome here. And we have 7 levels below that. And the ecliptic is what these 7 planets travel on. And the zodiac, which is the sidereal zodiac, is in the firmament. This is called a firmament. These are the fixed
How
stars.
high is this firmament?
It's probably only about 5,000 miles high.
But the aeroplane goes all the way up to 20,000, 25,000 miles high, 15,000.
No, only 25 miles. Not 1,000. They go 30,000
Oh, wait, that's feet. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, which is very low, which is about down here. But all the rockets that they shoot, they shoot them up like that, and then they go like this and fall into the ocean. No rocket has ever past this glass ceiling. This is a glass toroidal ceiling. This is protecting us. Okay? Now,
protecting us or guarding us?
Yeah, we live, there are many of these universes. This is one universe. There's millions of these universes. Okay? Let me show you how the Hare Krishnas, this is from the Hare Krishnas.
Yeah.
They have the earth here in the middle. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
And here are the seven hellish planets below, and these are the 7 planets above us: Saturn, Jupiter, the Sun. And so the rishis, they go to the moon. Yeah, when they leave here, so they can either go to the heavenly planets or they can go and live with Krishna in Vrindavan. This is Vrindavan. This is Vaikuntha. This is Brahmajyoti, the white light. This is where the Buddhists say they're going to go to the white light. Okay, here's Vishnu. This is Krishna and Radharani. Here is Vishnu and Lakshmi. Here is Shiva and Shakti. This is the Shiva kingdom down the bottom here, Shiva. And here is Brahma, Brahma's world. This is Brahma's universe, which he makes from his, from his umbilical cord.
Mm-hmm.
And he dreams up these lotus worlds. And the lotus worlds are Taurus fields. That's all it is. The lotuses are Tauruses. And so people who ascend, they ascend into these heavenly planets. They go to Jupiter or Saturn or the Sun or the Moon. And if they go back to cause, they go straight back to Vrindavan, back to Krishna, to be with God and to be as God. So here is Ptolemy. When 500 years ago, when Copernicus came along,
mm-hmm.
they said that Ptolemy's geocentric model was debunked. And now we know that we live in a heliocentric system. Well, let me show you the true model that I just showed you now. And I'll read it. It'll only take me a few minutes and we'll be finished soon.
Sure.
Okay? Because I know you like to do shorter vids. The world is divided into 2 parts, the elemental region and the ethereal. The elemental region is constantly subject to alteration and comprises the 4 elements: earth, water, air, and fire. The ethereal region, which philosophers call the fifth essence, the quintessence, encompasses by its concavity,
Mm-hmm.
the elemental. Its substance remains always unvaried, never changes, and consists of 10 spheres. So I'm going to show you now the 10 spheres. I just showed you 8, the firmament and the 7 planets below, but there's 2 more above, okay? And here is where you'll learn about it. This is 2,000 years of wisdom, Western wisdom. So it consists of 10 spheres, of which the greater one always spherically environs the next smaller, and so on in consecutive order. So he's saying it's like a Russian doll. The first one, the 10th, will encompass the next one concavely underneath it. So we have 10 concave heavens, principalities above our heads. Okay, when we look at Venus, we're not looking at a terrestrial body. It's a gaseous body, and it's a realm, it's a principality, it's a spiritual kingdom full of beings, living beings. First, therefore, around the sphere of fire, God, the creator of the world, placed the sphere of the moon, then that of Mercury, then that of Venus, then that of the sun, and afterwards those of Mars, of Jupiter, and of Saturn. Each of these spheres, however, contains but one star. So in other words, he's saying Jupiter is a star.
Mm-hmm.
Not planets, they're stars, wandering stars, as opposed to fixed stars. And these stars, in passing through the zodiac, always struggle against the primum mobile. The primum mobile is the 10th sphere, or the motion of the 10th sphere. They are also entirely luminous. So he's saying that the stars are just luminous. In the next place follows the firmament, which is the 8th or starry sphere, and which trembles or vibrates in 2 small circles at the beginning of Aries and Libra. This motion is called by astronomers the motion of the axis and recess of the fixed stars, probably in order to account for precession of the equinoxes. Well, we just did an hour of precession and explained how the stars move against the tropical ecliptic, hence they precess. So he's saying that these 2 trembling motions that happen when you look at my analemma, remember the analemma? Well, it's a figure 8. Well, those 2 points at the equinoxes, there's a trembling motion there. There's a vibration that occurs, according to Ptolemy. And that causes precession. And I can explain that, but it'll take a full hour, how precession works. Okay, so this motion is called by astronomers the motion of axis and recess of the fixed stars. This is surrounded by the 9th sphere, called the crystalline or watery heaven, because no star is discovered in it. Lastly, the primum mobile, styled also the 10th sphere, encompasses all the before mentioned ethereal spheres and is continually turned upon the poles of the world by one revolution in 24 hours, from the east through the meridian to the west, again coming around to the east. At the same time, it rolls all the inferior spheres around it by its own force, and there is no star in it. Against the primum mobile, the motion of all the other spheres running from west through the meridian to the east, the sun, running from the west through the meridian to the east, contends. Whatever is beyond this is fixed and immovable, and the professors of our orthodox faith affirm it to be the empyrean heaven, which God inhabits with the elect. Okay, so what are we talking about here? Well, he just said that this is how our earth is. There is the first sphere of the moon. This is where the rishis go, and they become the lunar people. Then there is Mercury, and this corresponds to our second chakra. This is the bottom chakra, the moon, red. in color, bleeding, menstrual. Here is Mercury, the orange chakra. Here is Venus, the yellow chakra. Here is the Sun, the green chakra. Here is Mars, the blue. Here is Jupiter, the third eye, which is the indigo, and here is violet. And then above this is the eighth sphere, and he said no star is found in it. Well, he's wrong. It's Uranus. Uranus is in here. Uranus rules the stars and the firmament and all of that body which is firm and fixed, and those stars never move. There's no parallax in those stars, which indicates that the Earth does not move. Otherwise, there would be parallax in the stars. And then beyond that, he says there is a watery, the ninth sphere is a watery sphere. It's called the crystalline sea, made of crystal. That's why it's blue. When you look up in the sky, you see blue. It's because of the water above the firmament. Here is a membrane of water. And then above that is the 10th sphere called the Primum mobile. So, Primum mobile. Primum means first. It's the first principality. These are principalities. From here, we get all of our life. All of our life comes from here. All of our conditions, all of our virtues, all of our qualities come from here. And when you know how to read a birth chart, and when you know where Jupiter is, if Jupiter is in Leo in the 5th house, and Mars is in Sagittarius in another house, you will know how these planets have influenced you who are standing here on the plane of the Earth. And so, did Copernicus debunk the flat Earth and the ancient Hindu, Egyptian, Mayan, Grecian, Babylonian, Persian, Arabian cosmos? No, we still live on a flat Earth, and we still live in this world. And these are the people who have given you the satanic lie of the globe. Here are the names. Pietro Bonacci in the 15th century, Jesuit. Gasparo Contarini, Jesuit. He started the Protestant movement. He started the Counter-Reformation. He was the protector of Ignatius Loyola, who started the Jesuits in 1541, and the globe of Copernicus turns up in 1543, 2 years later. He also started the Council of Trent, which was the most evil council of Jesuit demons in history. And his friend was Francesco Giorgi, and these guys funded Copernicus, the Jesuit. Then in the 16th century, we have Paolo Sarpi and Fulgencio Micancio. They sponsored and funded Galileo Galilei and Newton. No, wait a minute. Newton was funded by the 17th century black nobility Jesuits. Abbot Antonio Conti and Juan Maria Ortez, the Spanish Jesuit, friend of the Spanish aristocracy or oligarchy. They funded Newton and the religion of modern materialism or utilitarianism, and they were the enemies of Gottfried Leibniz, who preached the truth and who was the inventor of the true inventor of calculus, not Newton. And so all of these guys, Pietro Bonacci, Gasparo Contarini, Francesco Giorgi, Paolo Sarpi, Fulgencio Micancio, Abbot Antonio Conti, and Juan Maria Ortez, they funded Copernicus, Newton, Galileo Galilei. They were all Jesuits. They were all founded by two families in Italy, the Borgia and the Farnese family. They started the Jesuits in 1541. Then they invented the globe. Then they invented their globalist religion. Now we have a religion, an ideology called globalism, where we have a world global economy, a world governance New World Order.
Mm-hmm.
We have a New World religion, which is Catholicism, and a New World Order, which, thank God, thank the heavens, right now, as we speak, is being destroyed. Why? I'll tell you why, and I'll finish with this. Globalism will perish for all eternity, and nationalism, the true way to run nations or countries, if you want to call it that, nationalism is going to smash globalism. And the revival of the flat earth, which is very, very popular on the internet now, we have many scientists, many great minds who have joined the flat earth movement, and it will destroy the evil, satanic, demonic, filthy, putrid lie of the globe and its religion of globalism, and it's going to be smashed. And I will be one of the leaders in destroying the globalism religion with all its false Christianity and false churches and teachings and pseudoscience, along with many other intelligent minds who are turning against this satanic, demonic inspired teaching of the Humpty Dumpty Santa ball, the Humpty Dumpty Santa globe. So
now what I wanted to ask you, like, I was kind of questioning that, like, we have a satellite TV, and if the dish is not pointed to a certain direction where they say the satellite is in the air, the TV signal does not come. And I wanted to know, how would you explain that part where, why is it that the satellite only works when it's pointed in the air to a certain, where they're saying the satellite is? Or is there really a satellite?
I don't believe there are satellites as such. I believe they do that, all of that weather, weather forecasting and everything from their from the balloons. They actually have these balloons that they fill with gas and they go up. And in fact, that's how they've done all of their photography for Google Earth and all of their weather forecasting. It's these little gas balloons, because you can't get satellites to go past the firmament. There are many glass levels before the firmament. There is actually glass structures before the sun, you see. So what we're actually seeing is land-based technology. And what they do is they triangulate their signals. And so when you send you face your satellite to a certain direction, mm-hmm. you are actually facing it to where they have set their land-based technology to emanate from, because they bounce it off the ionosphere and from the dome. They bounce their waves off of that. And so it's local technology. There are no massive big satellites out in space. You can do some research on YouTube to see that this is all a fraud. And it's a way for the black nobility families to perpetuate the lie of the globe and to perpetuate their false sciences so that they can continue to steal money from the average taxpayer. Now,
you were explaining about the worlds that are below.
Yep.
Like, what is the actual shape, though? Like, where does it end? Like, at the bottom, is it just a globe still? And within the globe, there's all these different worlds? Or is this like some rock at the bottom? I mean, like, because, like, what happens when you reach the edge? How does it go sink in?
Everything is torus fields. There's nothing but torus fields. There's majestic big ones,
yeah,
and there's minuscule ones, which we call atoms. Our body is made of atoms, and those atoms are little donuts, little torus fields. So the torus field, this is the center of a torus field, and it goes like this.
Right.
And so you have like an hourglass here in the middle. The Earth is here in the middle. It's the middle garden. This is the dielectric inertial plane. This is the center. Here is the dielectric inertial plane. This is terrestrial, and so are the 7 planets below us. They are more or less the same width as our Earth. Below us, and then above us, you have around this, we have the 7 planets. Here is Druvaloka, the pole star. Druvaloka, where Brahma sits, and he has created this world, this cosmos, this universe. And in here, and so what this is, the outside of the Taurus field, in my opinion, this is what we call the firmament. So when we see those fixed stars precessing, they are the actual Taurus field. It's crystalline in structure. It's made of crystal energy. But this is what is going around us every day. This is moving and turning. It's a big, massive Taurus field. This is the universe, a bubble, a sphere. And inside this sphere, there are, in that system we saw from the Hare Krishnas, 15 planets. Middle one here, 7 below, 7 above, and then 3 layers of firmament, which they call the firmament. Ptolemy calls the firmament, the crystalline sea, and the primum mobile. And so this is where we live. We live in a big apple. Have you heard the expression, this is like an apple of Apollo, a massive Taurus field? And so we live inside the big apple. That's why, hence the expression, the big apple. Everything is apples. And in the center of the apple is the core, the heart, the cœur, the cardiac, the heart. And so, welcome to the real world. This is where you live on here. And when the moon turns around the center, this is central tree. This is called Yggdrasil. This is the center, the hyperboloid center of our Earth, the North Pole. Here is the South Pole out here. It's probably around about here. And then when you go further beyond, there are other lands beyond. So this is a massive, massive Taurus field. It's a Taurus field inside of a Taurus field. And everything is Tauruses. There's nothing but Tauruses. Nothing else exists. And so this is what an atom looks like. It looks like this. This is why they say there are shells in an atom. There's first tier shells, then second tier shell. And, like in a carbon atom, they say there's 6 neutrons, 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6, 6, 6. Well, it's all this. That's all they're seeing. When they see electrons, they see planets inside of an atom. And the atom will have an inertial plane. And that's the Earth. That's the middle of the atom. This is atom. All is atom. There's nothing but atom. There's nothing but donuts, Tauruses, atoms in the universe.
Wow. Oh, man. Well, thank you so much, Santos, for this is like earth-shattering information you gave. So
it is.
Hopefully, people get to look at it more on a open-mindedness than being closed-minded. So, but hey, at least people will start questioning, at least.
They will have
to break away from the manipulation that they have taught us from the beginning, but at least people can question and be open to it.
And they will be, because guess what the biggest search on the internet is today?
What is
last year? Flat Earth.
Yeah.
Everybody is researching.
I've done it, yeah.
Yeah, even the globetards who insist that we're spinning upside down on a Humpty Dumpty ball, even they spend many hours every day watching the truth but denying it because they have a reputation to keep.
Yeah.
We can't go against consensus, mainstream herd mentality. All the zombies out there believe we live on a Humpty Dumpty globe and we're spinning upside down.
Exactly.
Well, go ahead and make yourself look stupid for the rest of eternity if you want to stick with lies. But it's time to align ourselves to the truth now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Santos. And
thank you, my friend.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
Take care. Till the next time.
Till next time.